Every time you take a step and move your body, your central nervous system is at work. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and spinal cord, as well as millions of neurons which carry electrical messages to and from the brain. Neurons, or nerve cells, are protected by a myelin sheath layer, which allows these electrical messages to travel quickly and effectively. Sadly, when multiple sclerosis, also known as MS, develops, the body's immune cells attack this myelin shield, which makes it difficult for the brain to send signals to the rest of the body. That is why MS is categorized as an autoimmune disease. Trends are showing a prevalence of MS in Western countries. However, this autoimmune disease can impact anyone, starting in early adult life. Multiple sclerosis can drastically alter someone's lifestyle as it develops, affecting movement, vision, speech, and more. But while there is currently no cure for it, treating MS in its early stages can help to manage symptoms and slow down the progression of the disease. So, what should you look out for when it comes to identifying early signs of MS? Stay tuned, because in today's video, we will explore 8 important warning signs of MS. Before we dive in, please take a moment to like this video, ring that bell for future notifications, and subscribe to our Women's Wellness channel. We'll keep you up to date with all of the latest info in women's health. Plus, stick around to find out how you can get a free gift. Now, let's look at the top warning signs of multiple sclerosis, starting with number 8, walking difficulties. When someone observes changes in their balance, steadiness, and overall walk, they may be experiencing a shift in gait. Gait relates to the movement pattern used when we walk, and it can tell us a lot about the health state of our muscles, bones, and brain. Physios and doctors use a walking gait analysis to assess someone's movement pattern and determine a potential impairment and its root cause. But what does gait have to do with an autoimmune disease like multiple sclerosis? Well, MS is known to attack the central nervous system, and in its early stages, this often results in a change in overall mobility. In one study, researchers compared the gait of 16 patients with MS to a control group of 10 healthy subjects. Though the MS patients were divided into 2 groups based on the severity of their movement impairment, experts found a common gait pattern and similar mobility impairments in both MS groups, including reduced hip and knee extension, ankle plantar flexion angle, propulsive force, and overall gait speed. However, these impairments were greater for the more severely affected MS patient group. These findings suggested that gait can be used as a strong indicator in the progression of the disease. The National Multiple Sclerosis Society notes that a gait becoming smaller, slower, heavy, unbalanced, or unsteady can be signs of MS. So if you notice these patterns, speak to a health professional about having your gait analysed. Another symptom that can also show up in your gait is number 7, numbness and tingling. Whether you lean on your arm for too long or accidentally compress a nerve, numbness and tingling can happen for many reasons. However, it can also be a sign of early MS. When MS starts to develop, it disrupts communication between nerve cells linked to the brain and spinal cord. Numbness and tingling often occurs when a nerve branch is compressed, irritated, damaged, or, in the case of MS, misguided. It can manifest through tingling, numbness, and a lack of sensation in the arms, legs, body, and face. Numbness and tingling is perceived as one of the most common signs of MS. A 2013 MS in America study revealed that 63.5% of patients reported experiencing numbness and tingling in the early stages of the disease, and this was reported more than any other symptom. However, experts also point out that experiencing numbness doesn't always equal MS, and it usually goes hand in hand with other symptoms. So while it is good to watch out for this warning sign, it is important to take into consideration any other red flags you might experience, such as number 6, fatigue. Fatigue is often the result of stress and an unbalanced lifestyle. But it can also manifest because of certain health conditions such as MS. Studies have indicated that 65 to 95% of patients with MS report experiencing fatigue. Yet, it is unclear how and why multiple sclerosis makes people continuously exhausted. Experts have several theories. One theory is that fatigue is linked to high levels of cytokines, a chemical messenger linked to the nerves. Research has found that MS patients experiencing relapse commonly have high levels of cytokines in the body. Another theory is that fatigue can be the result of a reduction in electrical transmission signals in the brain, as MS disrupts overall nerve activity in the brain. So while fatigue alone is not the clearest warning sign of MS, it is important to not dismiss it, especially if you're experiencing other symptoms. Which brings us to warning sign number 5, cognitive changes. Cognitive changes can manifest in very subtle ways. Whether that is a shortened attention span, brain fog, memory problems, mood swings, or depression, research indicates that about half of people with MS show some evidence of cognitive changes. However, while 40% experience mild symptoms of cognitive changes, only 5 to 10% of people with MS experience moderate to severe impairments. So how does this autoimmune disease influence cognitive functions? Experts explain that the damage MS causes to myelin can result in brain and spinal cord lesions, inflammation, nerve spasms, and central nervous system impairment, all of which can cause changes in cognition. In a study involving 550 patients mildly disabled with MS, researchers used MRI and neurological examinations to show that 20% of patients had cognitive impairments, and lesion volume was significantly higher in those with cognitive impairment than those without. Researchers noted that assessment of cognitive function at MS diagnosis could help to identify patients who may benefit from therapeutic intervention to prevent further lesion development. As we'll continue to explore, many important indicators of MS only affect some people with the disease, while others affect the majority, including our next warning sign, number 4, bladder and bowel dysfunction. If you're experiencing lack of bladder control, constipation, or overall incontinence, this is a sign of bladder and bowel dysfunction, and it could also be a sign of MS. Over 50% of people with MS experience some form of bladder and bowel dysfunction, and research indicates that while this can develop at any stage of the disease, symptoms tend to worsen with greater severity of the disease. When the bladder or bowel becomes full, it sends a signal to the brain alerting a need to go to the bathroom. When you get there, the brain transmits back signals that it is now okay to release. When MS begins an attack on myelin, this can create lesions on that communication pathway between the brain and bladder or bowel. This can lead to bladder and bowel dysfunction, including incontinence. An Australian study involving 136 participants with MS found that 74.4% of participants reported experiencing bladder problems. 48.9% of participants reported experiencing functional constipation, and 31.9% reported fecal incontinence. The study found that a patient's level of disability highly influenced these results. Sadly, studies have highlighted that this symptom is particularly challenging for patients to talk about, which can impact whether they receive the appropriate care. The best way to manage these symptoms, whether caused by MS or not, is to seek medical attention as soon as they develop. Now, another warning sign of MS that can show up in early stages is number 3, dizziness and vertigo. Dizziness and vertigo can make a person feel lightheaded, without balance, or an intense sensation of spinning, even when not moving around. These symptoms can also trigger nausea, temporary vision loss, and fainting. Dizziness and vertigo can be caused by many things, even menopause, but it can also be a sign of multiple sclerosis. Experts have found that vestibular dysfunction, including dizziness, vertigo, and imbalance, is observed in 49 to 59% of people with MS. This is because, just like with fatigue or cognitive changes, vestibular dysfunction originates from lesions caused by MS in myelin in the brain. Research also highlights that dizziness and vertigo are symptoms commonly experienced in the early stages of MS, giving opportunities for early vestibular rehabilitation and MS management if MS is diagnosed early. Another early MS warning sign that can result in better disease management is number 2, vision impairment. For people newly diagnosed with MS, vision impairment can feel scary and debilitating. In its early stages, haziness, blur, and loss of sight can be sudden and temporary. However, vision impairment can also develop in more serious and permanent forms such as optic neuritis, diplopia, nystagmus, or blindness. Optic neuritis is when vision becomes blurry in one eye. This develops when MS attacks the protective coat of the optic nerve. Diplopia, also known as double vision, is when the brain perceives two images related to the same information and, as a result, confuses it. This develops as MS affects the brainstem that coordinates eye movement. Nystagmus describes the involuntary movement of the eye. It develops when MS damages the cerebellum and often induces dizziness and vertigo. Finally, blindness can occur as MS grows more severe. According to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, vision impairment impacts nearly 50% of people with MS, and it was noted in one medical review that optic neuritis can develop in 20% of those cases as one of the first signs of MS. So while research suggests that vision impairment can be a way to catch the disease in its first stages, on a positive note, research also notes that optic neuritis, diplopia, and nystagmus conditions have the potential to be rehabilitated. All in all, paying attention to any changes in your vision can aid in early MS diagnosis and treatment. Now, before we move on to the final important warning sign of multiple sclerosis, are you ready for a free gift? Simply for watching today, we're giving you a free copy of our 25 Energy Boosting Superfoods for Women ebook. Inside, you'll discover little-known foods and energy-boosting tips that are highly beneficial to your weight, sleep, energy, and mood. We hope you gain great value from it. Simply click the link in the description below to claim your free gift. And now for the last important MS sign to watch out for. Number 1. Muscle spasticity. MS can cause muscle spasticity, a condition that causes muscles to contract, stiffen, shake, or induce sudden and acute pain. Spasticity occurs when the electrical signals between the brain and the spinal cord are interrupted or damaged. With MS, muscle spasticity can gradually start with mild symptoms and develop into more intense episodes as the disease progresses. This can lead to difficulties in moving, walking, and talking. Spasticity can manifest as flexor spasticity, where the limbs bend and struggle to straighten, extensor spasticity, where the limbs do the opposite and stay straightened, or clonus, when the muscles twitch repeatedly. Experts estimate that 60 to 90% of people with MS are affected by muscle spasticity at some point in the disease. They also note that 1 in 5 people reported frequent occurrences of this symptom. So while muscle spasticity can develop at any stage, it appears to be one of the first and most common signs of MS, which, when noticed, can help with diagnosis. Many studies also provide evidence that this important warning sign can be managed and treated in its early stages. So there we have it. Now you know the 8 most important warning signs of multiple sclerosis. Noticing one or more of these signs can aid in getting an early diagnosis, managing symptoms before they become severe, and influencing the progression of the disease. So if you or someone you love is experiencing these signs, don't wait to book an appointment with your doctor. We hope this video was helpful to you, and we'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And before you go, remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit the alert bell to stay up to date with us. Plus, don't forget to get your free copy of 25 Energy Boosting Superfoods for Women. by clicking the link in the description below. From us here at the Women's Wellness Channel, we hope you have an